Thank you, Sean.
I think that was your machine, no? Okay.
That was Zoom, so Zoom
Okay.
apparently is also recording.
All right, so I'm gonna call the meeting to order. Calling the meeting to order at 4:05 p.m. January 9th. Commissioners present in person, Kit Ledbetter.
Hi.
Lynn Slaughter, Brady Smith. On Zoom joining remotely, Chong Greason and Jenny Poole. As Lynn mentioned, Lynn is going to record for meeting minutes, so that transcript will be available. We don't have officers elected yet. This is the first meeting of this commission. And so I've offered to facilitate today in the election of officers. I'll finish the meeting today and then our chair will facilitate going forward. So first step was to make a motion to approve the agenda.
I so moved to approve the agenda.
Second.
Thank you. And now discussion of the agenda. Any discussion?
I have nothing to add. You guys?
We're gonna be looking over here just so you know, because we have two commissioners on Zoom. So just
I'm all good with the agenda, thank you.
Me too.
Agenda. So oh, you're not raising your hand over there. That's unusual.
Yeah.
You're good with the agenda though. Perfect. Okay, all in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Sorry, I didn't mute.
So all five commissioners in favor of approving the agenda for the purpose of minutes. All right. And now we move on to elect officers. This will be a roll call vote. So for each position, we'll need a motion second. We'll have time for discussion. We'll do a roll call vote. And then we will announce the result.
Okay.
So the first position would be to elect a chair. Is there a nomination?
I'll nominate Jenny Poole for chair.
Okay.
Second that?
Okay, we have a nomination and a second, open for discussion. Jenny, you've been nominated.
Thanks, that's kind considering I'm remote here. And that is fine with me. Thanks, Kit.
Anything for discussion, Chom? Just want to make sure since you're on Zoom that we give you the attention you need. Anything for discussion on that nomination?
No, I'm grateful that Jenny volunteer. Sounds great.
No further discussion then. So this vote again is a roll call vote. I'll start with those on Zoom. Chom, how do you vote?
Yes.
Jenny, how do you vote?
Yes.
Kid, how do you vote?
Yes.
Lynn, how do you vote?
Yes.
I vote yes, that's unanimous. So we've elected Jenny Poole chair. Next officer, we need a nomination for vice chair.
And I'll make a motion Brady Smith as vice chair.
I can second.
All right, we have a motion for me for vice chair. Any discussion? And looking to Zoom, making sure.
You'll do
Yeah.
great at that, Brady.
It's not.
And you'll know how to run a meeting for future.
Point of order, that's not what discussion is for. All right, without further discussion, we'll move to a roll call vote, starting with those on Zoom once again. So the motion is for Brady Smith as vice chair. Chom, how do you vote?
Yes.
Jenny, how do you vote?
Yes.
Yeah, how do you vote?
Very much yes.
I vote yes.
Yes.
Okay, so it's unanimous, vice chair. Unanimous vote for me for vice chair, Brady Smith. Next officer is secretary. Do we have a motion for a secretary?
I move to nominate Lynn for secretary.
Cause I have a computer.
And I'll second that.
I would like to actually volunteer myself for either the secretary or the treasurer position.
Okay.
Okay, fantastic. So there are two positions left, secretary and treasurer. We have a motion to nominate Lynn for secretary, and it was seconded. So now we begin discussion. Any discussion on Lynn for secretary? And then the one thing I would add is at that point, I would add what Chom had mentioned, which is that Chom has expressed a willingness to be either secretary or treasurer. So right now we're discussing the nomination for Lynn as secretary. If anyone wants to make comments about it.
I'm happy to have Joan be the secretary, and I think being that she is remote some of the time, it might help her stay engaged.
I would comment only that I think Chom would be a good treasurer and that she's already treasurer of another organization on the island, so that might be a better fit at this time.
Yeah, I'm curious if you have treasurer experience, because we do need that, that role filled as well. Or would you be interested in the role?
Not really, I mean, I can balance the checkbook, which almost nobody does anymore.
A street set of skills.
No,
Okay.
I'm fine.
So Joan, we move forward now, and unless you want to add anything to the comments, the discussion, but we move forward with a roll call vote for Lynn as secretary. Is that all right with you?
Sounds great. Yes, I vote yes.
Okay, good. We started with you anyway. Perfect. So one vote yes. Jenny, how do you vote?
Yes.
Kit, how do you vote?
Yes.
I vote yes. Lynn?
Guess I better go unanimous.
So the result is the unanimous election of Lynn Slaughter as secretary, and our last available position is treasurer.
And everybody here knows how much I enjoy being treasurer and how much I enjoy not being treasurer, so. I vowed not to be treasurer, and I think, Chom, as I said, you're a treasurer in another organization, and I think that would be a good fit for us. And so I nominate Chom as treasurer.
There's a motion for Chom as treasurer. Is there a second?
I second.
And a third. Right. Discussion on the nomination of Chom as treasurer.
I think great. Your name, Kit. I think Kit and Sean summed it up, that she has the experience and she wants to do it. Two very important skills.
Yes.
Okay. Without further discussion, we'll go to a roll call vote. So the motion is Chum for treasurer. How do you vote, Chum?
Yes.
Jenny?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
I vote yes. Lynn?
Yes.
All right. So we've unanimously elected Chum Breeson as treasurer. Very good. Moving right along. We now need to adopt meeting procedures and rules. We need a motion. I can, even though I'm facilitating, I'm going to make this motion. I move to adopt Robert's Rules of Order for our Lopez Rec meeting procedures.
A second.
There's a second. Thank you. So the motion is to adopt Robert's rules. Any discussion?
Excellent.
No, but just to add that it is pretty protocol for districts to use Robert's Rules of Order, so, but it's good to clarify that that's our agreement.
Is there more than one Robert or like possessive?
I'm vaguely familiar with Robert's rules. Can you maybe briefly, I don't know, summarize like what it is for the benefit of people who don't know?
Yeah, we're also kind of already using Robert's Rules of Orders, but it is a published pamphlet set of rules for how to run public meetings. I think some institutions are required to do it. I think school boards are required to use Robert's Rules of Orders, but for other jurisdictions, adopting those rules is useful to come to a set of agreements on how we run our meetings. It's the standard for public
Does this
agencies.
include like action items having 2 touches and that kind of stuff?
You mean like first read, second read?
Right. First read, second read before important item is adopted.
I'm actually not sure if first read, second read is part of Robert's rules, or if that's just in bylaws for organizations that make resolutions. So I don't know. Jenny, do you know?
My understanding is the first and second is more of a public transparency laws rather than Robert's Rules of Orders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my
So
understanding as
you could
well.
adopt it through the rules, the bylaw.
Our policies
Right.
Yeah.
eventually.
I think that we all could use a refresher on Robert's rules, and they are published. So, but I don't think we have a clear answer, Joan, to that question about, is it two touches, or is that something that exists in bylaws?
Separate. Yeah. Okay.
But we have.
It is possible to table the motion if it's more comfortable for everyone to do some homework on that, but I'm comfortable with Robert's Rules of Orders and would happily vote yes for it. But Chom, if you'd like to voice an opportunity to table the motion until you have opportunity to do your own research, that's also available too.
You know, I'm reading the cheat sheet for Robert's Rule right now. It doesn't seem like it includes the parts about making important decisions and requiring first read, second read before adoption. Yeah, so is that is a separate thing. Anyway, that's the part I was curious about.
Makes sense. I mean, Robert's rules is more procedural.
It is
So-
more procedural and just how you run the meetings, not kind of your legal obligations with resolutions and how they get filed for adoption.
Yeah, seems like it. Yeah.
What's the alternative? I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't really know the alternative either.
Never been in an organization that hasn't used Robert's rules as their facilitation approach, but
Even the ASB at Lopez Island School District uses Robert's Rules of Orders.
so there is,
Anyway,
is there more discussion?
no, I'm just saying that I'm happy to consider adopting.
As a second?
Did you want to, yeah, we have a motion in a second.
No, I have no more. Just let's call for the vote.
If there's no more discussion, it's not a roll call vote. Elections are a roll call. This is not a roll call vote as per
Okay.
Robert's rules of order.
Okay. We adopted it first and second.
So all in favor of the motion to adopt Robert's rules of order,
Aye.
say aye.
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 I
All right, so that's.
I have a quick question, just for the benefit of people who are attending online, because we only see you, Brady, the Kit, and Lynn, but we don't have a sense of if there is any audience in the room. I wonder if you could
Really
give
standing.
us a sense.
You're saying, can you see the room?
Who's in it?
Is that right, Joan?
Yeah, or are there any attendants or participants in the room at all? Just so I understand, whether or not there are any
gonna move the
public.
screen just to pan the room. So if you get motion sick,
Great.
if you get motion sick, get ready. Here we go. I'm gonna have to pull out a little bit to catch this line down here. All right. Did that give you a sense?
Great.
And
Thank you for attending.
I think on Zoom you can see participant list, right? So you know who's attending on Zoom.
Yes, I do. I do see
Yes.
participant list.
They'll know better than we do.
Well, sometimes if it's a Zoom,
Mm.
you can't see everyone, so I just want to make sure. So, okay, so now we have a sense of the folks in attendance.
Thank you for doing that.
Welcome. Our next item is to approve a public records officer. So as a public entity, we need a public records officer. Is there a motion to appoint?
I would actually move to nominate or appoint Chom for this, pending discussion. So I move to nominate Chom.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second?
A second?
Mhm.
Okay, Lynn.
I would like to know what is involved.
Yeah.
So-
It's actually an official title. Each public agency is required to appoint that to meet our obligations under the Open Public Meetings Act. It designates a singular individual to whom the public should direct public records requests. So it's are officially stating it. I am just nominating you because you have offered to take these Zoom recordings, so I think you could be an important person there. Um, so it is, monitoring communications that come your way and being the first person to receive those public records requests and direct them to others or to the board for fulfillment of it. It is one of our legal obligations as a public jurisdiction is to designate that officer. So we need someone. So you're welcome to chime in on your discussion of it here.
We
Yeah,
did have a-
happy to do that. Yeah, I will, probably have to learn a lot more about this, but I know that I'm the one recording, and the recording that's something that I think I will have to handle. So I'm happy to do that. Yeah.
Great.
And in the future, if we ever have staff, we can redesignate a staff member as a public records
Mm.
officer. But for now, we don't have any staff and it's just us commissioners.
I would add, Joan, that many of the public records requests are likely to be financial. So as treasurer, you would also have, quick access to, not that you need to do it quickly, but there is a turnaround time on public records. And so it might be an efficiency that you are also serving as treasurer. Any further discussion? No.
So we do a roll call.
It's an appointment, not an
Okay.
election, so it's not a roll call in this
Okay.
case. So, the motion to appoint Joan Greason as public records officer. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I
All opposed?
Train.
Okay.
Wait for it.
I want to clarify, because we're on Zoom. Joan, were you an aye?
Yes, I said aye. Did you hear? Hello?
Maybe you said it at the same time. I didn't hear. I want to make sure. So it is unanimous. So all five commissioners. We passed the motion to appoint Joan as public records officer. Thank you. Now, our next item is to establish and adopt a regular meeting schedule, date, time, and location for future meetings. These are at an interval we set, so lots of flexibility built in here.
I think I read has to be monthly.
Monthly is what I think other entities require, but be more frequent than that, I guess.
Oh,
We want
right.
that.
I thought
Yes, but-
you had to say last frequent.
I think Fridays aren't the best day. Particularly because people a lot of times plan to go out of town and it might not be best. And Chum, for her sake, we need to go, not in the morning, but later in the day. So I think a Thursday or Friday, a Thursday or Wednesday or something, or some day other than Friday, my thinking on it.
But technically, as per Robert's rules, we need a motion and a second to go into discussion. So do you
Okay.
want to propose one and then the discussion lead to an amendment of that?
Sure. I'll propose that we go 4 o'clock on Thursdays for our regular meeting. And it would be, what's this, the first Thursday or second Thursday? Where are we at?
It's your motion.
Yeah, well, I'm searching calendar, hold on.
This is the second.
So,
I second.
second Thursday.
Well, just to clarify, and I'd be happy to give the motion. So I move that we create a regularly scheduled monthly meeting to be the first Thursday of the month at 4 p.m. So now we can exit.
I'll second it.
Okay.
All right, so we have a motion for our regular meeting schedule of Lopez Rec to be the first Thursday of each month at 4 p.m. And we don't have a location in that motion at this time. We want to add.
At the Lopez Library Meeting Center.
So we have a motion. Will you state the whole motion again? Just so we can-
I move to establish our Lopez Rec regularly scheduled monthly meeting on the first Thursday of each month at 4 p.m. at the Lopez Library Meeting Center.
We have a second for that.
That was a second by me.
Okay. Second, okay. And now we open to discussion.
Well, the obvious question, is this room available at that time? Anybody know?
Not off the top, we have to check the calendar.
The hand in the back, it's not playing the losses.
Yeah, I wonder if we could say, if the venue should be the library if it's available, but if not, we find alternative venue. Is that possible to include as a resolution, because we don't know
Well, it
if
could
it's
be,
going to be available.
yeah, it could be an amendment to this resolution is that if the library meeting room is unavailable, an alternative meeting location will be designated as needed.
Yeah, I think, yeah, for public comment, we would need, there's a hand of somebody present, so for public comment, we would need to recognize that person, and so we don't even have public comment rules approved yet.
Yeah, like next month is not available for the first Thursday.
Are you looking at the new system? Because I know they changed systems Jan 1.
Yeah, I'm looking at whatever system they have. Yeah. It's
Well,
Can you
not
look a
available
couple months out,
from
Chom, and see if it's regularly booked at that time?
okay. No, not regular. Just February. So after February is available.
Okay.
Oh, well, June is not available. So just June and February, that there's a conflict, but other than that, it's fine.
Okay.
If we approve this, we would be looking for alternative space as per an amendment for February and June. Or
Mhm.
amendment for a different.
Yeah. And we can gather a little more information on that, and at our next meeting, revise that schedule to reflect alternative meeting locations. And also just to really clarify with our commissioners here, that regularly scheduled meeting is just the once per month regularly scheduled, and then any special meetings would be designated separately.
This, Sean is looking at the schedule, could you look at the schedule for, say, the second Thursday of the month, since this is the second Friday of this month?
Second Friday of the month for February, is there's also a conflict.
Thursday.
What about
third,
Thursdays?
the third Thursday, there's no conflict of February. Let me check other months. Clear on March, clear on April, clear on May, May, June. Yeah, so the third Thursday, there's no conflict. Let me check January as well.
Sometimes the
What's
third week, I will say from previous experience, you run into holidays and then you need to amend it around holidays. That's just for our general consideration.
I say we go forward and because I think we'll be a bit of nomads in some way, shape or form through this first year.
Mhm.
We're not going to find something perfect yet.
I do to a degree like the second Thursday of the month, but
I think Joan was seeing conflicts.
Yeah, so for second Thursday of the month, there are conflicts in February and March.
okay. So it sounds like either way, whether it's the first or second Thursday, there's conflict for two of those meetings that would need revision on,
Mhm.
at the very least, location, but perhaps date and time as well.
Correct. So we have a motion for 4 p.m. first Thursday alternative space if the library is unavailable. Do we want to make further amendments? Or do we want to move forward to a vote on 4 p.m. the first Thursday with the alternative space if the library is not available?
I like that.
That works for me.
No discussion.
No, I
Chom,
think-
does that work for you too?
Yeah, it works for
Staying
me.
with that first Thursday, and then we'll amend with locations as needed.
I think we should bring it back next week or next month also, because we can get a schedule for a year out and then look at it and see how that might conflict with some of us or none of us or locations and that.
We could adopt it and revise it, or we could table it and then approve it.
What's your preference?
That is correct. So,
I guess my preference would be to adopt it and then revise just to set up some expectation early on, but I'm amenable to both options.
I agree with what Jen said.
you know, I'm okay with voting for it. So rather than tabling, let's do a vote. If we don't have the votes for it, obviously we go a different direction, but so this is a vote on the motion to hold our regular monthly meetings at 4 p.m. on the first Thursday of the month in the library meeting room or an alternative space if the library is not available. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? All right, so we have unanimous first Thursday, 4 p.m. library community room or alternative space if the library is not available. Excellent. Next item. There's, I think, identified need for a special meeting before the first Thursday of February. This is on our agenda, identify next special meeting, time, date, and location.
I move that we have a special meeting next Thursday at 4 p.m.
And I agree. I think we're talking subjects mostly with budget, I would assume, but
Well, we would just need a second and then we can have discussion.
I'll second that.
So that's January 15th.
Yes. January 15th at 4 p.m. at the Lopez Library Meeting Room.
Okay, we have a motion.
That- Yeah. And just to be just to
And-
clarify, this would be a special meeting. Special meetings don't necessarily need to be scheduled this way. The chair and another board member can just call a special meeting to order, but since we're all here, I thought it would be useful to talk about special meetings, and there's a lot of work with a brand new district to get it up off the ground. So putting in meeting in addition to that regularly scheduled meeting, I feel like would be useful. I have not looked at the library meeting schedule. Cho, maybe since you're on that website, you want to look at it, and then we can each kind of discuss our availability for that date too. I made the motion because I'm available that day. So
It's available on the 15th. Yeah.
4 p.m. is a good time for.
How long are you thinking? For each meeting, regular or special, what's the duration of the meeting?
Regular meetings, I think we should probably reserve the room for 2 hours. A special meeting, I would say we could reserve the room for 1 hour. So 4 to 5 p.m.
Any discussion?
The topic, I assume, is about budget and when we can come back again to the election. Is that correct?
I think that would be a good topic of discussion, is to have kind of more of an open discussion meeting around levy options, because as everyone is aware, we're an unfunded district at this point. And so some of the reasons for forming were to support the school district And there are some timeline considerations if we want to do that this year. So I think that would be a good next meeting topic just to explore all the implications and considerations and have it kind of be a special study session for our commissioners to look at our options.
Any other
And
discussion?
just so I understand, all meetings are subject to public participation, public joining us
Yeah, the
or
Open
not?
Public Meetings Act, yes. So we would
Okay.
need to publish the agenda for that 24 hours in advance and post it at our physical location for the meeting. The chair and vice chair in this circumstance can develop that agenda and then post it, but I think it's useful for us to all be in agreement in advance on what that looks like.
Yeah, at this point, I think one meeting a month isn't enough for us to get established, and so I really strongly feel this is a great idea. Full support.
My only comment would be, that is probably our most contentious issue. And if it is a public meeting with public comment, we might need more than an hour.
Okay, I'd be happy to do 4 to 6.
I think, I mean, it's not a good look if you're abbreviating public comment because someone has the room at 5.
Yeah,
So I would say if we can get it 4 to 6,
Mhm.
meeting starts at 4.
Okay.
And it ends when it's over by 6, hopefully.
that's a big portion of it, is what, listening.
Yeah.
So, and then maybe this meeting is to set for future meetings and how we're going about seeking that information, but it's a good start.
Mhm.
Should people that are here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely, just clear. That's what I was here for.
Yeah, and also just to clarify with special meetings, nothing can be decided on them that isn't on the agenda that's published in advance. So, that's just another thing to note is that with any study session or special meeting, the only things that can be decided upon in that meeting and have action taken are those posted on that agenda.
And I think this first meeting is very procedural because we're starting from scratch.
Correct, yeah.
Fewer actions at this meeting simply because we need to elect officers and we have a subcommittee proposal on the agenda, for example, but we have a lot of work to do. So today is very procedural. I think it would be very good to have a meeting on January 15th to move the work forward. I think that the deadline to file for the April ballot, if that's something that the commission decides is of interest, would be February 27th. So time is short if for the April in particular. So. So I'm going to read the motion that's out now with the amendment. So the motion is for a special meeting in the library meeting room on January 15th, Thursday, January 15th, from 4 to 5 p.m. with the amendment being until 6 p.m. So with the amendment, it reads, special meeting scheduled in the library meeting room, 4 to 6 p.m. on Thursday, January 15th. Are those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, that's unanimous. So our next meeting, special meeting, will be January 15th, 4 p.m. Great. So the next agenda item was to appoint a budget subcommittee. So is there a motion to move to support a budget subcommittee?
I move that we appoint a budget subcommittee to evaluate a future budget for Lopez Rec.
Is there a second?
I second.
No.
Okay, I think in that discussion could be some possibility of amendment of who of our commissioners and any community members how we would want that subcommittee to look. So just for clarification on the process, 2 commissioners can work as teams on areas of inquiry and on subcommittees. We could bring in community participants in that as well. it is the budget conversation, I think, is super important and useful to start promptly engaging in. So I think at this in this discussion, what would we want that subcommittee to look like?
Only two.
We can have two commissioners, and then those commissioners can also consult with anyone in the community as directed by the commission or commission in general, or as the subcommittee sees fit.
And as a clarification, only two commissioners could be on that subcommittee so that it didn't then need to be a public meeting with all the rules and regulations that go along with that. Is that
Correct. And then any reporting that the subcommittee wanted to do to the full commission would be at an open public meeting. So it's, gathering information and then bringing that information and presenting it to the full commission so that any action can be taken based upon that.
I would be happy to serve on that committee, because we've had some discussions, that, might be helpful, if the board so wants to appoint me with someone else.
So if I can ask, so like the vision would be that we identify two commissioners for a subcommittee. One
Yes.
of those two commissioners would be to identify community members to round out that subcommittee.
Ideally, community members will be brought in. It might be specific community members that then become part of that subcommittee, or it might be those two commissioners in general soliciting more public outreach and input with a wider net, or it could be those two options. For example, we might appoint 3 community representatives and then work together as a team to do more broader community outreach on that.
Yeah, I mean, another example may be with the resource center and the after school and summer camp, to try to narrow that down, that budget. What does that look like, and what does that mean? And what are our options?
Sure. I mean, that's the work of that subcommittee.
Yes.
I guess I'm asking more about process. And what you're describing, Jenny, about whether it is a community survey or appointed community members or elected, or somehow, that however that is formed, it becomes a responsibility of the two commissioners to figure out the next steps for that subcommittee. Is that the
Correct. Although our commission in general could say, great, we want to create the subcommittee and we want you to have a first step of finding 3 community members to be part of that subcommittee. That is an option available to us. Or we could do the initial first step of appointing 2 commissioners. And then at our subsequent meeting, those commissioners can report back on how they think to best facilitate that inquiry.
And my other comment would be Jenny's, I think the other possible person to be on that committee, since she is.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this. I know it's gonna be a lot of work, but I also feel like maybe just for diversity of representation, just I don't I feel a little bit ambivalent about volunteering myself, but I just feel that it might work better, if we want to kind of broaden the reach and the trust in the community. Maybe I should be part of that, although I'm not looking forward to the amount of work that might be involved in serving on this subcommittee. Anyway, I'm saying that I'm volunteering myself as well.
I am not volunteering myself, just to be clear.
I'll join you.
All right.
I'd also be happy to do it. So I'm happy to go with Kit and Chom, or I'm happy to do it with either of them. So I think kind of as we wish here.
Yeah,
But I think 2.
Yeah, go ahead, Jenny.
Well, we do need 2, so
I'm fine.
we can't work in 3s.
That we do need to broaden. I'm not sure if this is the right place, but I'm happy to back out and have Chom be part of it. It would be helpful if she's here, but that's
Next
not-
month.
Yeah, so, let John and Jenny do it, I'm fine with that.
Is the motion is to form one? Is that included in the vision?
Yeah, I was thinking we could amend the motion to include the commissioners appointed to that.
So right now, we're in discussion on the motion to appoint a budget subcommittee.
Yes.
Amendment to that?
From discussion, I would say I move that Chom and myself are the appointed commissioners to that subcommittee.
I'll second that.
Okay. We'll take it to vote unless there's further discussion.
Should we also include in this motion whether we are going to direct them to add 3 community members? If we're gonna leave it up to them how to involve community members?
Yeah, I think leave it to
Should
them,
that be part of it? This-
yeah.
Or just say we're gonna leave it to them to decide how they're gonna go forward?
We could also report back to the full commission at our next meeting on kind of what we think are the ideal way that would look. And then if the commission wants to do any directing beyond that presentation, then they certainly can at any time.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Before we take it to a vote, I guess, a clarifying question also, we just calendared a special meeting for January 15th. Is there anything that a subcommittee can do between now and then? Like
Certainly, we could come up with a plan because our special meeting will be around, budget considerations and levy input. So I think if this motion passes and Chom and I are on that budget subcommittee, we certainly could include on the subsequent agenda for next Thursday our presentation on our idea of what that looks like and our areas of focus and what we're learning and what we think that subcommittee should be composed of.
Sounds good.
see it's on Zoom.
That works,
Okay.
for me.
Who involved or not?
Yeah. All right, no further discussion. Take it to a vote. So the motion is to appoint a budget subcommittee consisting of Commissioners Chom and Jenny. All in favor?
Aye.
I
All opposed?
Aye.
That was in favor, I assume that was an aye, okay. Unanimous, passes unanimously, so budget subcommittee, thank you. So our next agenda item is a draft item, looking for a resolution to create an interlocal agreement with the Lopez Island School District to fund school sports contingent upon successful passage of levy funding for Lopez Rec. We need a motion.
I don't know that we do need a motion on this one. It's more of a discussion, but
Yeah, well, so discussion only, I think is what we're doing here, so. We're discussing a resolution, but we don't need a motion to, form a resolution at this time, so. So, talk about interlocal agreements between school districts and parks and recs. I guess I can speak a little bit about it. A big part of the vision of Lopez Rec was based on the relationship between Friday Harbor High School and Island Rec. Island Rec and Friday Harbor High School have an interlocal agreement. That's the kind of agreement that's used between two public entities. That interlocal agreement outlines the relationship, the financial relationship, responsibilities of each party. And ultimately allows for Friday Harbor High School to submit to Island Rec the invoices for the expenses related to their sports program. That's then reimbursed by Island Rec. So it's the mechanism by which the school district receives funding from the Parks and Rec to support their athletic program. Interlocal agreements include very strict parameters around what it will and will not fund. It includes the timeline for the funding requests and things like that, so it is a legal document. needs to be reviewed by, created, or at least modified and reviewed by legal counsel for both parties. In this case, that would be the school district and Lopez Rec. Input is asked for from commissioners. We don't have levy funding, so this isn't an urgent item. But it is something that we want to have in place for if and when we do have a funded district. It also is something that probably will take multiple touches, especially since any changes would then need to be reviewed by the legal counsel for both parties. And I think that you identified a potential pro bono legal counsel. Is that what you were saying to me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So even though we have no funding, we might have some legal support in that process. So
Yeah, I think it's useful for us to get this going sooner than later, just in that it clearly communicates and articulates to the community the expected relationship that Lopez Rec will have with Lopez Island School District and its intention to fund school athletics. So I think the more we can create that understanding, the better. Also, just as a backdrop, these interlocal agreements are highly encouraged under Washington state law as a mechanism for, the utilizing of resources between government agencies.
Yeah.
It's a shared resources agreement.
It seems like to me that it might be a good idea to have a subcommittee of two to work on this, to have it, bring back some iterations. In that we have a really good example because it really falls within what we're trying to do. This example for us, but there are some things that need to be changed in it. So I don't know if that's appropriate or you guys feel like that's the right way to go. And it isn't something that has to be done in the first couple of months. It's something there, but it seems like we can take the first draft, a rewriting from that, but us in it and how it would change from what they have.
And when you're saying it and they, I assume you're meaning San Juan.
Yes, San Juan and Lopez, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Friday Harbor High School has many more facilities than Lopez Island does. For example, it would be a shorter, cleaner agreement, but it is about shared resources.
Yes.
Right? And that's why it's called interlocals. It's not a contract between one entity and another. It's sort of saying this is what we offer to the relationship and this is what we offer to the relationship.
Yeah.
So because of that, I would not want to be one of the subcommittee members either,
Right.
since I
Right.
have a conflict.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think the idea of having a subcommittee, especially for expediency, I don't think once a month with legal reviews in between is going to be very efficient. So having a subcommittee take responsibility for that, I think is a great idea.
And I'm happy to serve on that committee, but that's the direction you guys want to go. San Juan and this one would be contingent upon funding. Again,
Right, but like you said, I think it's a good idea to have it in place and to have the discussion, because again, it informs the community, not just, oh, we say we're gonna do this, but we now have things in place. I'd be willing to work with on that.
okay.
Would this also be used as a template for agreements between the district and other non-government entities, or that will be a separate thing?
That would be a separate thing.
Okay, so this is just for the school.
Be very specific, yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
My understanding is any interlocal agreement is between two parties. You can have more than one. You can have an interlocal agreement with a different other entity, Lopez Rec and one other, but you don't have multiple entities in one interlocal agreement.
It's really typical for cities and or park districts with school districts, because that shared resource, gym, sports fields, etc. And if they were to charge us a cost, it would be very difficult for us to pay all those fees. And yet that's what we're giving back is money to sports. So it's a handshake agreement that both parties get something.
Mhm.
So we need interlocal agreement with um with a public entity, right? But let's say if we were to enter into an agreement with Family Resource Center, would it also be called an interlocal agreement or something else?
No, interlocal agreements are only between government agencies. So the school
Okay,
being a
got it.
publicly funded institution and Lopez Rec being a publicly funded institution.
Okay,
It's actually a legal term.
And as you
okay,
pointed out, there's lots of information RCWs probably the WAC that encourage that, the joint use.
okay,
It's true. And park and recreation districts specifically being encouraged in the legal code to develop those relationships. And the idea behind that is that you maximize public resources, public dollars.
We're not looking for action or a vote on this.
It was more of a discussion at this point, so I think I would say, Kit, if you want to look into, and maybe I can help you with like what best next steps we can engage in to generate that, and that at our next special meeting, that could be something on the published agenda is a plan for generating that agreement.
Sounds good.
I don't know that we need a motion on it at this point, but
Yeah.
just a general discussion of next steps on it.
Yeah.
If we do come up with an official plan of how we want to engage in it, it's possible that we, might move to approve that, but in general, I think it's worth pursuing sooner than later.
I only have one more comment. It seems like um we I get a sense of people's wanting to move pretty quickly on this, although this is I know that this is not necessarily gonna we don't need it yet until the levy is passed, right? But I think it's a good idea to go ahead and work on it. However, on the sense of urgency, I have done some analysis on like the pros and cons of the April ballot versus November ballot, and I just wanted to share my perspective on it, and I provided a link in the chat just to I feel like if we don't need to go for the April ballot, then we may work at a different pace. So I thought I would share my perspective so that maybe we could ease off a little bit. I don't know. Anyway, that's just my perspective, and I shared as a link in the chat.
I'm not sure that sharing something as a link in a chat is appropriate due to open meeting laws. These documents that are related to a public meeting need to be presented to the public in advance. So I guess my recommendation is to take the link off, and we can put that on the agenda for the special meeting and include it in the documents that the public can view in advance. Because it is so that can lead to public comment. So the public meeting laws specify that any documents that are part of a meeting are intended to be presented at least 24 hours in advance. At least that's my understanding, 24 or 48.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can, Chom, if you wanted the full commissioner to see that, just for informational purposes, each individual commissioner can certainly draft an email that says for discuss or not for discussion, do not reply all, and give a one-way communication to the rest of the commission. But any discussion around, conversations, any discussion around the business of the commission needs to take place in an open public meeting. So.
And very specific.
I deleted the link, and I will share this document for later discussion then.
Thank you. I think that's, I don't know the specific open meeting laws around Zoom links, but I just know that the document should be provided 24 to 48 hours in advance of a meeting. So
And we can't comment back, so that would be wrong for us to have it up and we just can't comment.
we can add a meeting if it's on the agenda. So I'm not sure if I'm taking some notes around our special meeting agenda. where we've got hopefully a report from a budget subcommittee and further discussion about the interlocal agreement. We want to add this, Joan, what would this agenda item be called?
Oh, this is regarding the timing of the next levy.
And I think in general, that should be a topic of our next meeting is considering our options for bringing another ballot measure for levy approval. So I think an open discussion at that time would be great.
Are you talking about the next special meeting that's next week?
Yes, yes.
Meeting, I want to make sure.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Any further discussion on that topic? Okay. And for those on Zoom, everyone here is still awake. Our next item is public comment policy. So we don't have a public comment policy at this time. So we don't have public comment in this meeting agenda, but we will going forward, provided we and approve a public comment policy. So,
Yeah. And I just want to clarify also that I did send an email to each of you with a drafted one just to get us out of the gates. That's not for discussion in that email format, but I did want to start the conversation rolling in terms of understanding what comment policies are. So I would also suggest maybe a first read of that policy at our next meeting, and we can include it in that special meeting agenda and publish the document, and then we can have a reading of just a first reading of it so that we can continue deliberation on that.
I would second that.
Well, it's not really a motion or a second, it's just a communication of, I think that should be on our next meeting because by our regularly scheduled meeting, I do feel like we should have a public comment policy in place by our first regular meeting on the first Thursday at 4 p.m. in the Lopez Library. If we could, in the course of special meetings, get a policy approved before then, it would enable public comment in a way that is understood to the public on how it happens.
I completely agree. I think if we can expedite a public comment policy, it's only going to help us make the right decisions about next steps. So adding it to the agenda for the special meeting on the 15th of January, and we'll include the draft version that's based on the RCWs.
Yes, and then there can be lots of discussion on it and requests for revisions, but at least it's a starting place to get us out of the gates.
Great. Any other comments on that topic?
Nope.
And just as a reminder, because, there's some newness and some refreshing of memories on Open Public Meetings Act. When we do send email communications to each other as commissioners, there's some standard protocol for recommended protocol for what that looks like. And it generally begins with we BCC each commissioner so that nobody accidentally replies all. You start with a notice that says not for discussion, do not reply, and that it's clearly a one-way communication and not a collaborative communication.
Yeah. Thanks, Jenny. And that is later in our agenda, just to recommend. Yeah, no, that's relevant to this as well. So the topic currently is the public comment policy. Is there any more comment on this? All right, next topic would be commissioner duties. So reviewing the commissioner duties. And this is also coming from an RCW, I think. Jenny, you pasted this into the agenda, I think, right? Is this lifted from an RCW?
It is specific to an RCW, which I wish I had listed on there, but it is the legally defined responsibilities of Park and Recreation District commissioners. And I think it's just noting while we're all in the room of this is what we were elected to do. So some of it we just did. We elected our officers, and that's useful.
Yeah.
And we're required to hold public meetings, and we came up with our schedule.
So everyone hears they don't have the agenda in front of them. So let me just read what's on the agenda for the
Great.
commissioner duties. The duties, the Park and Recreation District Board of Commissioners shall, one, elect its officers, including a chair, vice chair, secretary, and such other officers as it may determine it requires. Number two, hold regular public meetings at least monthly. Number three, adopt policies governing transaction of board business, keeping of records, resolutions, transactions, findings, and determinations, which shall be of public record. And number four, initiate, direct, and administer district park and recreation activities and select and employ such properly qualified employees as it may deem necessary. Any comment about commissioner duties as per the RCW? Yeah, you're right though, Jenny. We have taken care of a few of the responsibilities at this meeting. It's great.
Yeah. Number three, the adopting policies governing transaction of board business is something that will take some time and work of this commission as we get it rolling.
I have no further comment, then we'll move on to creating Lopez Rec emails so that we can communicate with our constituents.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like, Chom, you were sworn in first some time ago and created a Lopez Rec email, is that right?
Yes.
And it's under a Gmail domain, is that right?
Yes.
And so since we have no funding, I don't think government entities are given domains. I'm looking at Jane for some reason, but I can't really speak unless we recognize you, but would there as rec.org provided by the county or? Okay, so with funding, we can fund our own domain. That would be. So for example. Right, that makes sense.
Yeah. If we receive levy approval, then we would create our own website and have emails that are linked to that website, but we don't have that yet. So each commissioner, I think, can choose how they want to facilitate communication, but it is a clearer way to separate your communications from your personal ones if you have a separate email that you're designating for Lopez Rec communications.
And the suggestion would be the one that Chom created, which, can you say it again, Chom? What's your?
Yeah, it's chom.lopezrec, LOPEZREC @gmail.com.
And I started one, jenny.lopezrec@gmail.com.
Okay. So this is just a discussion, but the recommendation would be that we all adopt that. Can't think of a term for it when they all have the same email structure, but like,
Yeah, we don't have any really where to post that, but you know, if somebody contacts you on Lopez Rec Business and you forwarded it to your designated Lopez Rec email address, then it's a way of keeping your own files tidy in-house.
all right. Any further discussion about that? And we can help each other do that if there are questions, or even tech support somewhere else, but only in pairs. All right, next is to direct all commissioners. This is agenda item 12 out of 13, so we're nearly done here today. Direct all commissioners to complete the OPMA and the PRA training within 90 days.
Mm-hmm. This is our legal obligation, so it's not something that requires like a motion or not. It's just our legally obligated requirement. I would just offer to be a resource for any commissioners that have questions on where to obtain that training, but MSRC does offer those trainings for publicly elected officials. It's generally like an online class and it gives you a certification, and our public records officer should be informed of when and how we took that training so that in case anyone makes a request around that, we have that information available to the public.
I took the training for the sewer district 4 years ago. Is there some time span that you should do it again?
It is. I feel like it is every 4 years, but that's easy to check in the RCW on it.
I think it's also when you're elected to a new position. So
Is
I think,
it?
yeah, even if you're serving in multiple positions or have served in positions before, I believe you attend the training within 90 days of your election.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's just you have to take it every, like within every 4 years or something. I know that I have taken it previously as a school board member and mine is outside of the date, so I was assuming that I still needed to do it. But I don't know if it's each time you get elected to a new position.
It's good information.
It's good information, yeah. Okay, so there's an understanding of our legal obligation. We have homework,
Yes.
everybody. Okay.
And I would just say, like each individual should be responsible for coming up with a plan on when they're taking that. And then because Chom is our designated public records officer, you should let her inform her that when you completed it and the method at which you completed it. And I can be a resource if you're looking for, training opportunities.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Yeah. In lieu of a secretary that's like paid to help us.
Any other discussion on open meetings and public records trainings? All right, final agenda item, next meeting agenda items. So our next meeting would be the special meetings now calendared for January 15th, 4 to 6 p.m. here. Currently, by my notes, we have on the agenda for that meeting to further discuss the intralocal agreement and the possibility of a subcommittee for that. A report such as it is from the budget subcommittee. Conversation about the timing of the levy and considering our options, and that would include a document that Chom would like to share with us. And then first read on a public comment policy with the hope that we have a public comment policy second read and finalization by our February monthly meeting. Are there other agenda items for this special meeting?
I think it would be good.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry. It would be good to discuss ways we could share information with the public. For example, I will have the recording, which is legally required to be made available to the public. I know we don't have any budget to do a website, but maybe we could figure out a way to share information. Like our emails. Just basic information.
Another one is the talking about an attorney as a representative. I have more information on that and we put it on. I'd like to have for the full commission to hear and make a recommendation.
So that topic is what is legal representation?
Yes.
Fair to say.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And to clarify, chair and vice chair would develop that agenda for posting. Commissioners are always welcome to send a direct email requesting items be added to it. So that's in general just the way those special meeting agendas will be developed, but I'm appreciating that we're all coming up with ideas here.
So if the meeting is January 15th, we would need any requested agenda items from commissioners by the 13th. And Jenny and I would finalize this agenda on the 13th and post it.
Correct.
Okay.
And just to state, in an open public meeting, because we're a newly formed district and don't have a website, nor money to pay for a website, we're utilizing Lopez Rocks as our posting mechanism at this point. So it's being posted there and we're posting it at the physical location of the meeting.
And we did book this room, right? For 4 to 6 next Thursday, the 15th. I think Chom, you were on, I believe. Is that right?
Oh, I have not booked yet. But I think maybe the person who will get the key and stuff should be the one booking.
Is the library still open?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's only 5:15, yeah. Okay, we can take care of that here.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
All right, any other comments on the next meeting agenda items topic?
Well, I was just gonna say, in terms of posting, you can only post on Lopez Rocks if you have a paid account. I created a Lopez Rec account. And then I wrote them and I explained our unique situation. So we can post, but we can't attach. So that is something what I did was I just cut and pasted the agenda and put it in the message. We can continue doing that. Or they offered, because we are a community entity with a money problem, they said we could keep posting. I'll pretend like I pay them $10 and they'll just do it. So I don't know if y'all want to go through that loop or we want to just do the cut and paste option.
It's $10 a
And-
year.
And I have a potential item to add. I'm curious about the process for us to make decisions. I don't know if we need any kinds of like bylaws or anything to say that, okay, for certain items that that are important, what are the steps required as a commission to get to the approval? I don't know what that document is called, but I feel like it would be really good to have an agreement on how to move toward a decision, for adoption of important items.
Yeah, bylaws.
Yeah.
Bylaws, okay.
We definitely do need bylaws. That's the work of this commission within the probably first 6 months. Some things are dictated by RCWs in terms of resolutions and postings, and other things are within Robert's Rules of Order of how we conduct the meetings. So some of that is implied, but absolutely bylaws would be useful to develop and should be done.
So I think to honor that agenda item without suggesting that we actually engage in the development of bylaws at the special meeting, a discussion of bylaws, Joan?
Sure.
That seems like the right topic, right agenda item for
Mm-hmm.
the next meeting, rather than going deep,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we're down, our originally proposed 1 hour meeting now has 9 topics.
Yeah, we might have to do a time limit on some of those.
Yeah.
As just a deferral to a next meeting, but some of them might need to be deferred or just have a very quick discussion on them.
And we will have that, so if you need to add agenda items by the 13th, but hopefully you don't, because there's too many already.
Surprise.
But we will have an agenda to share on by the 14th within 24 hours. Well.
Yes.
Okay. Any other comments about next meeting's agenda? Is there a motion to adjourn?
A couple of things too.
They have to be on the agenda.
Not necessarily.
Okay,
I just want to thank
okay.
the committee members that I don't think that's asked me, that served all that time and appreciate their dedication to time, money, and effort. So, I wanted to get on the public record to say thank you. Which includes Judith and Bridie and my Stephanie that aren't here. So they deserve to be thanked. My other one, that maybe this one isn't, but my feeling is the nice people here came to see what we're doing, and if they had any comments, we didn't have any public comment at the start. So, I think it would be appropriate to hear if they have something they would like to say.
I would just say that we could designate that at the next public meeting, not from a lack of not wanting to hear, but just to create publicized expectations around it.
Okay.
In the spirit, thank you. I agree with you, and
Yeah.
Everyone who contributed.
And expressions of gratitude might be something we add to a standard practice for our commission.
It is on standing agenda item on the school board, and it is a nice.
Yeah.
Should, so appreciate that. Thank you, Kit. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to make sure we weren't breaking our rules around the agenda. So with that, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
I second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I.
All opposed? All right, we are adjourned at 5:20 PM. Thank you all.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh.
Ready to put this back, maybe, the room, do you think?
I think we stack chairs. We stack chairs.
I agree, you're not foundation. I also agree. No, I wouldn't pay a low. So, you know, I mean, yeah, it's about me.
Yeah.
I don't know that I am not. I just never have been quiet. How I know I.
We are going.
Well, it's good because it's more in the community.
Look, I need religion. Well, I appreciate what you might not have understood. This is gonna.
Yes.
I'm looking at the just can't remember it exactly. Like you said, what it is. All your help and all.
Right.
And I should kind of paste it.
Yeah. So you're going to have. You're gonna need the doctor. How many do you have?
I want to say hi. Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing. Well, the thing is, I've never seen a created without funding. I've never seen the public say, yes, we want this, but no, you can't put it there. When I saw, I said, I'm a tree.
Not alone.
Right, not for errors. That's the best thing I've ever seen,
Yeah.
because people vote no for both, because I'm assuming it's the same people voting, or yes or vote, but to say yes, no.